Good morning, everybody. As you can see, the sun is out. It is shining. Welcome to the latest episode of Derek Invests. I'm your host, Derek Miller. We're going to look at some stocks today. We're going to do some stock breakdowns. We've had a lot of success in the last week. Did a lot of forecasting before earnings last week. We had an accuracy rate of 100%. And we did some stock valuations, just indexes. We didn't make the marks there quite as well, simply because we were evaluating the indexes, and it doesn't matter. We didn't necessarily miss either. We just did not hit our targets. Oil hit our target. Gold hit our target. Overall accuracy of last week was about 87%. And I gave 2 to 3 day forecasts. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with weekly forecasts at the moment. We're in summer, so things are moving slower. Most of my forecasts have hit now, only I put a 2 to 3 day kind of marker on them, and they didn't make it. The indexes have hit their marks, but they hit on day 6. Things are moving slower. There's not as much trading activity. Everybody knows we slow down in summer. So I think we're going to hold the forecast, even though we're looking only at 5-minute charts. Ultimately, we're gonna hold these forecasts to about a week, 5 trading days. All right, let's get started. So as you can see, we have some travel stocks, we have some growth stocks, we have some of our leaders, some small and mid caps, and we're going to cover some semiconductors. We're going to take a look at Master that basically tracks Bitcoin. So we'll take a look at that. And all right, let's get rolling, baby. By the way, futures. I've started doing some futures trading as well. Starting to show how to do that, how to keep yourself tight there. If you're interested in that, reach out. Let me know. I will happily cover anything people are interested in. So be sure to let me know if you'd like to see some of that future stuff. It's a little quicker. You have to be a little tighter. You should not be jumping into that stuff if you're brand new. I realize there's a lot of leverage, so you don't need nearly as much money to make money. As you can see, I have futures up here. This is TradingView, which I happen to love. I also am really falling in love with NinjaTrader. It is a very, very, very easy. It's not just the charting; it's also the account. The trades are placed so simply. They are on TradingView as well, but I'm starting to utilize NinjaTrader also. I'm liking it thus far. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at some stocks. So the first stock, pardon me while I look down here, I have to look at my stocks. We are going to look at Six Flags, and we're going to look at fun. Let's look at Six Flags. It's on the radar. People are talking about it. I'll cover anything that people are talking about. What do we see here, folks? What do we know about trading activity? What do we like about trading activity? Well, what we specifically like in areas like this and this, after price has fallen from 72 down to 15. So obviously a massive drop. What we like about activity like this, and when it comes back, is that this is most likely purchasing. So let's zoom in on Six Flags and see what we think. 1 week. Here we go. Let's scoot this way and zoom in just a little bit so we can see both of those areas. Okay, these are retests, folks. So they're still finding supply down at this level. You have to be aware of that fact. They're still finding supply down at $19, and we're sitting at 31. Let's zoom in a little more because, again, we're going to do some weekly outlooks. That is important to us to note, but that is not how we are going to decide what to do within this position. Okay, here we go. So what do we see? Buying all along the bottom here. And, we do see significant activity here, which is a new high price. So let's zoom in a little more. 4 hours. What do we see? We see activity at that high price. Now, remember, we're not focused on it, but we know that there was still a lot of supply down at the $19 mark. And look at this trading activity starting right here at $28. Now you're sitting at 31. If you own something at 15 and all of a sudden trading activity kicks in at 28 on a high level, what do you think that is? Correct. Most likely that's selling. Now, this particular position has just hit the news, and remember that it's come from 72, but we definitely are looking here. Every chart is a new chart, right? We we look backwards in time and we break down charts so that we have an idea of where we're at and how we got here. But ultimately, this is the chart we're evaluating. Only this chart every time we get shorter and shorter. This is 15 minutes. And I have to tell you, on a 15-minute chart, you know, what you're seeing here is selling. Selling, selling, selling. How do we know that? Because trading activity this strong, if it were buying, this price would have moved upwards, everybody. Price would have moved upwards. Now, for our target, we're going to zoom back out a little bit so we can see a little more. Okay, our initial target isn't that far below us, but it's going to miss that. It's going to come through that. Let's see. It's a tough one, everybody, because it appears as though it's going to come down to about 30, but I'd say there's an extremely high probability at 29.50. Let's go take a look at the major index real quickly. Let's take a look at the S&P. And then we're going to make our call on Six Flags. Although, honestly, I would avoid it. It's nothing too enticing there. There's nothing that great to look at. PY. Zoom in just a little bit there. There we go. Let's go to a 4-hour. Actually, just straight to a 1 is fine. Oh, you have a gap to fill. You have a gap to fill. Yeah, this wants to come to 5. This wants to come to 536.50. It does. I mean, it's been fighting for it. It's summer though. Markets don't tend to fall in the summer months. People are not as active on Wall Street. There's a little gap here to fill. This would be a 7-day outlook. So since I'm here, I'm gonna give a 7-day outlook on SPY. Since we are here. There you go. SPY 536.55. Oh. Let's go ahead and change this to red. There we go. You know what we'll do as well to make sure that everybody knows where we're at? We'll go ahead and slap some dates up. Let's say the 20th or the 19th. Anybody know? Oh my gosh, the 21st. Good Lord. So it'll be what, the 28th? There we go. I know that's a touch tedious, folks, but we want accuracy, right? Doesn't do any good to post this stuff. It doesn't do any good to talk about it if nobody knows when and where you're supposed to hit, right? All right, let's erase that. And let's go back to 6. And we are going to go ahead with Six Flags. And this is a bigger drop, but we're going to go 29.50 on it. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. Same target of the 28th. Here we go. And bingo. All right. And now let's go take a look at fun. And, folks, I want you guys to know something. I do this stuff, and I put myself out there, even on positions that I don't necessarily see great action. And I'll tell you why I do it. Because everything isn't always perfect. You don't always need to place trades. But look, the bottom line is this. If you have a process that works, having an opinion on a position, and this one's going to be a 47, we're doing the same target. We're going to go 47.68 right there. You should be able to have an opinion on anything almost at any given time. Now, if you're asking me, are these two positions that I would feel very excited about? Well, no. I mean, I don't see, to me, there's better stuff out there, but we're covering stocks because, look, people are interested in what these companies are going to do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be looking at them. 6/28, 2024. All right. We're going to cruise through some of these guys. Some of these are not all that difficult to have opinions on, and they move pretty quick, and they're fairly obvious as well. And you should be able to move at a speed similar to this before you would ever even consider something like futures. I mean, you actually need to move much, much faster than this for futures, but you should be able to do evaluations like this. So we're going to look at TXG, and then we're going to look at SMCI and Master. So hang on there. TXG, let's take a look. TXG. Oh goodness gracious. Okay, let's go in. There are certain stocks, guys, that I won't have an opinion on because they're so new and so torched that they could have been manipulated from day one, or they just don't have anything worth looking at. Like if you look at this particular stock, there's just nothing here. There's nothing standing out. If this were buying at this level, so you see this giant piece of trading activity that took place on May 1st. If this were buying, and what's this level? 28. There's no way you'd be sitting at $20, right? So I don't know what happened here. It says earnings, but I have no idea. I don't personally pay a lot of attention to the fundamentals. I look at the setups. That's why my earnings call were 100% last week. I called every one of those before earnings came out. I was 100% accurate, not just to the upside, but then to the downside. Anybody that just gives you upside in a rising market, you should not listen to, everybody. That's a waste of your time. Anybody that's constantly going to the upside is going to be right 80% of the time. The problem is the 20% of the time that they're wrong, you're giving it all back. That's reality. I don't need a custom interval there, folks. Let's go back to one day. SCMI. This was getting torched for a while. I haven't looked at this in a bit. I know this is a stock everyone's interested in. Or is it SMCI? SMCI. I look at so much, guys, that believe me, while everybody thinks that the stock they're watching is the most important stock in the market, trust me when I tell you that there's just stuff everywhere right now. And everybody's interested to some degree. What you realize about a company like this is that they've gone from $30 to $1,200. Actually, let's just go from the jump off point here. What's this price? Come here, you. On May 1st, it was just call it $100. It was at $100. Then it went to $1,300. In a matter of a year. That's a big move, everyone, for an unproven company. I know why it took off. By the way, it's not a secret. I get it. Daily. Is there anything here worth looking at? 300 to 1,200. No, see, there's nothing here to look at. Anybody that tells you this is something is really in play, this isn't really in play, guys. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. If anything, it'll be sold back down to the 800 or so mark, and then it might actually get some legs and really move downwards. But I'm not making a call on this. I told you I like to make calls on everything, as long as it's not just me just guessing because it's the trendy thing to do, and that's all that is right there. Here's Master. Something tells me this isn't going to be anything I'm going to care to make a call on either. I remember when this thing was up there at 2,000 though, and I called 1,200 on it. That was pretty easy. Doesn't look like there's a heck of a lot of buying down here at 1,000. And you're really just calling Bitcoin. So if someone wanted to know ultimately what I think of Master, I think this. I think ultimately you're back in here, 185. But you want shorter term time frames. Everybody wants a shorter term time frame because they're either looking at options or futures, or they're actively trading, which is something I definitely believe in markets like this. If you're not active, you can get torched. Master, nothing here, guys. Nothing here. I'm going to step away from this one as well. It's filling gaps to the downside. I have to tell you that is not great news for this particular company. Well, it's not really, doesn't matter. It's not good for this position. Let's take a look at Etsy. One month. Let's look. Oh, my goodness. This was a lot of buying right here. And the reason you know that is because it rallied up to 140 from what's this? 670? So it doubled. But then look, it comes back down. What's going on now? Nothing. It's par for course. I live on a golf course right now. I use a lot of golfing terminologies. Terminology. But anything here that I like? Daily. Nice gap that filled to the downside, sadly. This is going down, guys. This one will be heading down. To where? Giving you a target the next week is in the next week, it goes to 58. There's a lot of buying in the background here. If you look, that's 1 hour. Go down to a 15-minute. You don't need to look too intricately at things like this, everyone. I mean, a lot of buying here. See, you would assume this is all buying. All of this, even as prices continue to drop. I would say the next week, 64. I'll mark this one. I don't like this gap sitting here because they keep testing for supply. But it looks to me as though this wants to go up. So we're going to go ahead and set a price target. In the next week, 610, it's going to work. Market's probably going to be working against it. $62. I would give it 64, but I think the market's going to be working against this one. Again, everything is moving slower, don't get me wrong. But It's tough running against the market, especially a stock like this. It just looks like there is a significant amount of buying that's been going on. And remember, there's always stocks that are going up in markets. This isn't some dramatically falling market either, right? It's just looks like there's just a pullback that's coming. I mean, there is nothing major for 6/28/2024. As you can see, guys, I'm on the buy and sell side at all times. There's no such thing as bearish or bullish to me. There just is, right? A position can move independently. Now, when you're in a massive bear market, this is really dangerous. And just like right now, we're in a pretty strong bull, and I am willing to make calls to the downside right now because there have to be corrections as well. ACMR, take a look. ACMR. Gosh, all right. Everybody seems to be very interested in these new companies, huh? Okay, so we hit here, we bounced. Actually, that's very positive to the upside for this particular company. Gap has filled, another positive sign. Here we sit. There is volume, but it is higher at a higher price. 1 hour. Let's take a look. Volume bubble here, here. Let's go down to 30 minutes. What do we see? Anything? Looks like selling above us. Not crazy, but it's up there. It's above us. 15. Selling. I like that. 5 minute. Gosh, this is a tough one. I'm going to give it 24. This should have 24 to the upside next week. Yeah. Yeah, it should. All right, let's give it 24. ACMR. Let's look at NFYEF. I'm not sure what this is. Someone asked me to look at it, though. I'll take a look, but I don't know what that is. NFYEF. Oh, we're not. This is no volume. Yeah, guys. No. Sorry, I can't take a look at that one. SPHR. Jesus. Yeah, everybody's sending me the new stuff, huh? The new. What's going on with the new, Derek? Let's see. That's buying at this level, but the way it rose just came down is not the greatest of signs. 50. Well, it did double. Yeah, there's more buying in here. take a look. 1 hour. That's not great. Every chart's a new chart, guys. You have to evaluate that way. Here we go. This is something. Let me show you guys. See this? Somebody's buying it. In the next week, you should get 34.16 out of that. SPHR. There we go. What is next here? What are we looking at? ENIC and TTE. I don't know what these are either, guys. ENIC. Let's take a look. Week. Day. There you go. I'm going to go straight down to 30 minutes. Oh, mama. It's just, oh, God. Not enough volume. Yeah, volume's really drying up on this one. TTE, everybody. What do we see? All right, well, we see some standouts down here. Now, price is returning to those levels. I don't know that that's necessarily great. Gaps filling on the way down. This one isn't as bad. Sometimes you want to zoom in, everyone, and just really take a look. Yeah, you'll probably have 62.40. It's real hard to say beyond that. You may have 62.90, but I'll say 62.40 confidently. All right. And then we're doing targets for 628, everybody, next week. All right, let's see. What else did we say we were going to look at? MGM and RCL and Apple. Where are we at here as far as time goes? Oh, we're okay. We're all right. MGM, RCL, and Apple. MGM, let's take a look. Monthly. I like that down there. It's risen quite a bit since. Really just stuck in a range, huh? Weekly, daily. Let's take a look. What is this? Looks like a lot of buying. It really came down underneath it. That looks like a buy. That looks like a buy. That's at 38.39. 4 hours. If the wind was at its back, this would have a 46 by next Friday, but I don't think the wind is at its back. 1 hour. Let's go to 30 minutes. Every chart's a new chart. This is buying down here. There's just nothing substantial here. Definitely a search for supply. Up is its future for sure. But if we're looking at the next 5 trading days, which in slow trading times like summer, 5 trading days is the equivalent of like 2 in the fall. Yeah, I'm not calling this one. There's just not enough here. RCL, there's just not enough. You need a little something in times like this to have any level of accuracy, and that just doesn't have it. I mean, this is obviously a tremendous amount of buying. This is a search for supply. Up is clearly the route for Royal Caribbean for quite a while. On a daily, let's see, buying. Okay, they came back. That's a retest for supply. Royal Caribbean has a lot of buying going on. I can tell you that. It likes to fill gaps though, and there is one back here. Oh wow, that's pretty far below. Sadly, it will fill, guys. Believe me, it will fill. This should have pushed price down if it was selling, but it didn't because it's buying. You can forget the red and green bar stuff. Looks cute, doesn't mean anything. Red bars are as much buying as green bars are selling. This is buying right here. Boom, boom, boom. You're looking at 153.50 over the next week, I think. Let's zoom in. Yeah. RCL 153.50. There we go. Let's put our target date up there. So that later, it's not in debate on when I said these things would happen. All right. And I believe that is going to be all for today. Let me do one more. One more. Let's do NVIDIA. Everybody loves NVIDIA. All right, NVIDIA fans. You're at 130. 129.50. Everybody always asks me, why don't I just do a regular screenshot, like a whole screenshot, and then I can edit it later? Why would I want to do that? I don't want to edit it later. I feel like I've been a little more quiet today for some reason. Well, I guess it's Friday, end of the week. We're back here, though, everybody. We're back. Oh, the sun went completely out of... I am dark, huh? Anyway, hey, listen, thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Remember, if you're not okay up here, you're not okay anywhere. Mental health is the most important part of your day and of your life, right? You have to stay positive. We all have negative thoughts leak in. Just don't let them overtake, right? All right. So thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Put a smile on today if you need to. Fake it till you make it, right? Like, you can always do that. Sorry about the fact that I am undercover here. I guess it's going to be time for me to switch positions yet again. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. If you need someone to talk to, always reach out to me. Okay. I'll see you all soon. I will talk to you tomorrow.